afternoon, everyone. This is RAND. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, June 1st. The year's about half over, that's right. The greatest prison people live in is the fear of what others think. David Icke. This world will make us believe that we are in prison, caught in an invisible cage, woven with fear, lack, and unworthiness from other people's stories and their entrapped illusions. The hypnosis is deep. This world pulls us into a loop of stuck thoughts and feelings that keep repeating themselves, disguised as comfort and disguised as you. But here's the deeper truth. We were never, ever truly stuck. The walls were never real. We were momentarily asleep, living inside a dream world. Maybe the habit of feeling imprisoned becomes familiar. Perhaps it was comforting to have some walls to keep your bright light from being too big. Yet these walls are not your master. And trying to break through them only creates a kind of thinking that forgets the gold that's already within. The walls you've accepted around yourself do not define you. Truth is that you, the eternal spiritual being, are undefinable. You have never had any walls, and you cannot be contained. You are not the pattern, not the pain, the past, or the projection. You are the one who sees through it all. You are the awareness who can choose to return to truth, to feeling the light at any moment. You are the choice maker who is free, never needed to be fixed. All of those prisons that you believe you have are made of memory and beliefs. They were constructed from fear, from others' beliefs. Yet they were never real. What's real is that which does not change. That eternal soul who cannot die. The door to experience the real you has always been open. The key in your hand. Freedom is not something you earn. It's something you remember. You always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself. That came from Glinda the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz, the original 1939 film. We are free to stop performing, free to stop wearing a mask or holding our breath. We are free to let go of who you thought you were and step into the brilliant mystery of now. This letting go is not a loss. It's a rebirth. It is a sacred release of what no longer serves. So something holy can rise in its place. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken or in need of being fixed. You are not late or running behind. You are not too old, too tired, or too far gone. You are awakening right on time. The mind may resist all of this. It may cling even harder to the prison walls and tell you you're reaching for some fantasy idea of freedom. It may tell you to get real and return to the normal, old ways of living life. That's okay. You are in a place now that can move through this voice because you are not the voice itself. You are in a position, you're relaxed into your body, you're as still as a statue, you're focused on your breath rising and falling, you're in total silence. No external interference. You are the God. You are pure consciousness, untouched by any voice, belief, or thought. You are far deeper than your wounds, brighter than your darkest past, and eternally whole. Even when you forget, nothing bad that has ever happened in your past can stain the glorious truth of what you are. You do not need to escape from anything. You do not need to prove you are worthy to or improve yourself in any way. You only need to remember that freedom is your most natural state. It has always been inside you. You are not on your way to freedom. You are this freedom right now. You're the one radiating the light. You are the one who dreamed up all this illusion of being imprisoned in the first place. So you are also the one who can let it go. You are the dreamer and the doorway. The great one who created this mess, and the same one who can instantly dissolve it. You are not here to fix yourself. You are here to remember you were never broken. Emily Moritzen. You came here to explore it all, to dance with your shadows, to learn what it means to love that darkness inside you, who may still choose to protect and stay closed. You came here to fall in love with the experience of feeling flawed, imperfect, and extremely human. This is your moment to stop delaying. No more buying into these stories of lack and limitation. You are ready to remove the shackles, set the world on fire. The miracle of your freedom is already here. Just sit back. Breathe it in. Let it settle in your bones. Feel your heart soften, your belly unwind. You are at home. Your heart is here to receive you. You are enough. You are worthy. You are divine. And you are already free. As long as you seek for something, you will get the shadow of reality, not reality itself. Shunryu Suzuki. The ultimate truth is not somewhere out there. We have been told that for ages. It is within each and every one of us, waiting to be realized. So when we say everything is within you, that's a fact. It isn't something that was whipped up years ago. It's a fact. Everything that you need is within you. Now, one might say, well, what about everything out there? Don't we learn, experience? And yeah. That's why we laid it out. That's why we constructed it the way it's constructed. Doesn't it make sense that we have all the tools that we'll ever need within us so that this journey is enjoyable, so that we live and experience our truth, that we are gods in these bodies, pure consciousness, that we are total bliss, joy, deep eternal love, happiness, tranquility, benevolence. I mean, isn't it ironic that so many of us do not know that? Totally oblivious to it. And of course, we know that, the ego mind comes in. It tries to convince us all the time, no, don't go there. That's a waste of time. Hey, you're all right with me. we've been doing all right, haven't we? You don't need to go into the now. But that's a good sign, because when that voice comes in, at first, you probably will follow it. But then after a while, you'll say, no, thank you. I'm staying in the now. And see, once the mind realizes that it's not going to get your attention, it begins to think, hey, maybe they're right. Maybe I should start to follow them. And then before you know it, the mind, ego starts to follow you. Why? Because you're in heart-mind. And it seeks peace. But it does not believe that it is part of the God. And it believes that peace is out there, in this material physical world. It's going to find it sooner or later. That's what it believes. This is why lifetime after lifetime, we kind of do similar things. All of us in different lives. Yeah, okay, so the things, things are kind of different. They're all illusions anyway. Maybe one life we had a horse and buggy. Who knows? But it's still, we do things, and we repeat them. Wouldn't it be motivational enough for us to realize that some people do want to know their past lives, but some people don't? Because when you're in ego mind, can you imagine all of a sudden the curtain is drawn and all your past lives are there for you to view? And now remember, ego mind is insecure. You're suffering when you're in ego mind. You're disappointed. You get angry, frustrated, highly emotional responses. But in heart mind, that doesn't exist. You can see why we are progressing the way we are to embrace heart-mindedness and then end up being there on a continual basis for the most part. And where ego mind is basically relaxing on the lounge, realizing that it has found peace and that it is no longer needed. It's an illusion anyway. So it dissipates and then is no longer there. Then the curtain is drawn and there's all your past lives. And believe it or not, which isn't talked about a lot, all your future lives. Yes. You can view all your future lives. We have this power that we are. The irony to it is that we just don't know how to use it. So we go within and we find out. We have a high amount of conviction and commitment. So we are not going to waver. We are going to discover who and what we are through this spiritual evolution on this planet Earth, on the outer rim of the Milky Way galaxy. We discover, we enjoy this life that we've created for ourselves. We don't take this life too seriously. No reason to. It's temporary. And we're here just to enjoy our lives and experience. We create the experiences. And we have fun. How many of us have fun anymore? Because we're so tied up with everything. So, we're so tied up with everything, and we're so diverted because of this and that. You take a step back and you go, wow, this is as busy as it's ever been on this planet. You feel it. Everybody feels it. It just depends on whether or not they acknowledge it. And then at times you look at your life and you go, wow, you know, you hit this ego mind rut type of thing where you go, what am I doing? Why am I here? Or that type of thing. And this is why I say do something different every day of your life. And it doesn't have to be huge. See, you break apart, it's like a stigmatism. We all get into a pattern, no matter what it is. Some of us say, oh, I'm not in a pattern. Well, but we are. We all form these patterns. And we do things pretty much repetitively. But if you say to yourself, before you get out of bed, and you say, let's see, what am I going to do differently today? And you go over the things that you normally do, and you might say, well, I'm going to shift this, do this before I do this. And it sounds trivial, but it really isn't. Because it keeps us enjoying life instead of getting bored with it. Because many of us get bored with it. Because why do we get bored with it? Because we do the same things over and over again. We get into the pattern. We really don't know it. Really. We just fall into a pattern, whatever it may be. You know, you're up at a certain time. You take your shower, you get ready, you eat, whatever. You're in your vehicle, and you're off to work. You get to work, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And we do this every single day. And one says, well, what about the weekends? Well, some people work weekends, but the ones that don't, they have a similar pattern set up for what? After Friday afternoon, night, Saturday, Sunday. And when you begin to do things just a tad different, just rearrange or do things in different orders, add a couple of things that you normally don't do, you'd be amazed on how things build and become much more interesting. You see, we're all curious. We're all kids. We have the childlike curiosity, so we get curious about things. No, I'm an adult. I don't do that. Yes, we all do that. And we get curious about stuff, and then we wonder about certain things. It's like you're doing something all the time, you know, every day. Someone comes along and says, hey, you want to take a trip with me? And you say, what kind of trip? Well, you know, I've got these tickets and I wanted to go to Caribbean, hang out. And you go, you see, this is to yourself. And you're saying, oh, you know, I pack, you do all this stuff, got to get the right clothes, I got to, you know, and then go there, and do I have enough money, and this and that. And then you say, yeah, I'll pass. Because you feel comfortable in exactly the space you're in. Nah, come on, you'll have fun. No, I'll pass. Okay? Now, those who are on the other end of always adventuring, which means that, you know, bungee jumping, jumping out of a plane, parachuting, always on the edge adventure, diving off of a cliff into the water, doing stuff that pushes the limit. You know, skydiving, all those things. Would probably say, now take a trip and go to Caribbean might be boring to them, might not really interest them because they're always on the high end of doing things. Right? They might say, yeah, Caribbean, blah, not interested. And then someone who's never traveled, they're in a rut, and they fear that they would fear going on that trip. So these little things usually feel uncomfortable for us. We don't feel comfortable with them. This is why so many times we negate them. We just kind of, brush them off. When they feel that uncomfortable, and I don't mean, eerily or negative-wise, just, oh, do I have to do that now type of thing, right? You might want to just take a leap of faith and say, what the heck, why not? Because our lives are determined by the now. That's it. We do not have tomorrow. We don't have yesterday, it's already gone. We don't know. We really don't know. You can walk across the street to get a sandwich and get hit by a bus. You just don't know. See, this is why every moment, like in these meditations, we're in the now. We're focused on the now. The silence in the quiet time of this meditation. We're at ease in the now. We're not in a hurry in the now. We don't rush, we're not pushing, forcing things. We don't have a deadline. We just be. And I know for a lot of people, they go, well, how in the heck, by just being, you say that there's a God there. Yeah, the God's you. How can that be when I'm me? I'm a body. Well, you really aren't. Okay. Well, how can I be God in the body? And how can I meet myself? Because you're living ego mind. Personality, character. That's not the God. And so it's kind of like a alter ego type thing. Right? So you feel that you're in a material world and you're material. But in actuality, you go into silence, that's where you are. That's where the God is. When you feel total peace, and you're not thinking, right? When you're in the now, you don't think. You just be. Moment to moment. You ever notice that when you're doing something, right? Could be anything. And you don't realize you're not focused on the moment. You think you are, but you're not. And so you do something, and it's like this morning, I keep my water unit, my structured water unit, in a little teeny white glass ceramic bowl. So, it drips into that, and then it evaporates. So it's been in there off and on for quite a while, and so I didn't realize that it had stuck to it. Okay. So when I picked it up, it came the little bowl came undone and smashed on the floor. I wasn't focused on the moment. I had maybe other things that were there, but it's stuff like that. You're chopping food, right? Preparing a meal, and you cut yourself. You're not focused on the moment. If you focus on the moment, you would look at every stroke, every cut. You would look at where your fingers were and your hands were and the knife was. That's focusing. On every motion and every movement, we're focused on the now. Now, you might do something during the course of the day and it really ticks you off and you get super angry about it. When I'm around people that do that, I say, why are you expending that energy to something and disruptive? You switch gears and the heck am I expending my energy on something so ridiculous? We have the opportunity to do so many things. We have no limitations. We have experiences. We don't have failures. Okay? We have experiences. So your experience might be educational for you, and it might not go the way you wanted it to go. You can sit there and say, I never thought in a million years that it would go this way. But when we look at, the good, the bad, the rough, the smooth, life gives us everything we ask for. Which means that you could ask for things not knowing you're asking for them and get them. You say to yourself, why am I experiencing this? I know I didn't ask for this. But you did, randomly. You probably don't remember. And always the flip side. I always carry something like a coin in my pocket. And I flip it a lot. It reminds me that there's always two sides to everything. And when I forget about that, I have that coin, and it reminds me that there are two sides to everything. You have a lot of money, and then all of a sudden you realize all the stuff that comes with it that you never really put any attention on, right? You get something that is a dream of yours, right? You get it, and then you find out, wow, it's really expensive to insure. I got to really be careful about this and that. There's always two sides. And a lot of us, we really don't care to go to, we know there's another side, but we just kind of stay on the one side. We don't really care to visit that other side. Because a lot of us will say, well, the other side is, maybe it's not too positive. Maybe it's negative. And you sit there and you go, no, I'm not going to go to the other side. I'm not going to look at the other side of the coin. Others of us will look at the other side. See, that makes a lot of sense. I prepare myself, educate myself so I know how to handle these things that surface. You have $1 billion. You never had that kind of money in 10 lifetimes. And you're really excited, and you're enthusiastic, and you're very grateful. And then you say, okay, so the other side of this is that I've got to take care of this. You got to take care of it. I've got to learn some things, educate myself. Knowledge is power, ignorance is evil. So you embrace it, even though it's not the real fun part, but it can be. If you spend every day surrendering, you'd be amazed on what transpires. You surrender. What does that mean? You say everything, all of it, I give it to you, universe. I surrender it to you. You can lose everything in a blink of the eye and not be aware that comes upon you. All of a sudden, everything that you have had is gone. So the fun part of it is replacing all the stuff that's been taken. That's the fun part. But you've got to be careful, because you can get into a rut again, another rut, and take things for granted. So you create things along the way that kind of soup it up. You might do some things differently than you normally would, and it kind of breaks things up. Okay? You might say, I'm going to go to the next town over. I don't do that. And I'm going to go pick up some food items in the town over from me, rather than my own town. Or I'm going to go take myself to dinner at XYZ in whatever town, but not yours. Something new, something different. See, and we can introduce that on a daily basis. And again, it does not mean it's got to be astronomical. Okay? It could be anything. You eat certain things, and You decide for yourself, I'm not going to eat this stuff. I'm going to eat this stuff over here. I've never eaten this stuff before, so I'm going to try it. You're at a restaurant, you're used to ordering certain things, and you stick with it, right? Because it's good, it's safe. Then they have a new menu, and you go, well, okay, so what am I going to order? No, I don't know. Oh, there it is, the one I usually order. That. Why don't you order something different? No, I like ordering this. Variety. We've heard this saying over and over again. Variety is the spice of life. And variety can come in all forms. But probably some of you have done that. It says, I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to do this. Wanted to do it off and on occasion, but never did. But you know what? I'm going to try it and see what happens. I'm going to do it. Okay? And usually, you're pleasantly surprised. And it's like certain things that you don't really like to do. You say, I really don't like doing this, but I know I got to do it. Instead of that, you go, well, what can be fun about it? Because I don't like doing it. Why don't I like doing it? Because every activity that we do in this life is precious. You come along and, you've got 2 arms, 2 hands, legs. You can move around, you can do things. And then you come across somebody who is paralyzed. Why would the universe put that in front of you? Well, it basically gives you time to realize and appreciate, be grateful for your body and what you have. See how much we take for granted? What happens when you lose a hand? I've known people, they had hands, right? And they lost them both. Or they had arms and they lost them both. Or they had legs and they lost them both. That's really tough because you've used them, you've had them, and you've experienced them, and then they're gone. When you don't have those at birth, that's a different story, see, because you don't know what it's like to have them. But when you've had them and they're taken away, wow, that's a big difference. A lot of the things that taught me growing up is I worked a lot with paraplegics, quadriplegics, and hydrotherapy and swimming pools, water. And some of them were born with organs outside of their skeletal system. So, instead of the lungs being underneath the rib cage, they were kind of wrapped around it. And if they ever got sick, they would get deathly sick and could leave the body because their immune systems were so really compromised. But it really gives you a perspective about yourself, the body that you're in, and go, wow, I am deeply grateful for the body I am in. See? Now, what do a lot of us do? We can't even look in the mirror because we don't like the way our body looks, and we don't like the way this looks, and we don't like the way that looks, and that's all ego mind. So we don't bother to look in the mirror. Look at our body. Not to judge it, but to be just darn grateful that we have one. And we're all enlightened beings. The sun shines down, and its image reflects in 1,000 different pots filled with water. The reflections are many, but they are each reflecting the same sun. Similarly, when we come to know who we truly are, we will see ourselves in all people. Amachi. Join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath, rising and falling. Depending on how long you've been ignoring certain issues in your life or running away from certain thoughts, the longer it may take to actually relax, train and quiet the mind. At the very moment you let go of your life and are infinitely patient and accepting of yourself the way you are, a completely overflowing abundance of relaxation and energy will rise into you and through the world around you. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. You'll return here Sunday, Monday, June 2nd, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening out there or within you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.